Hi, I'm Ian from Dr. Assist. Now, I would like to explain to you the 15 reasons why you should upgrade from advanced version to our new Spectrum version. Now, point number one, the new version consists of the new WhatsApp. So this one, if you're using the old version, which means that you'll be utilizing the Compose SMS, which is the old version. Now here you need to it's like our phone. If you use SMS, means that you will be credited every time you send. So here you need to keep track on how many credits that you left before you can send SMS. So this WhatsApp feature is good in the sense that you do not need to keep track on this credit that you have. You can just send as much as you want. However, this one, the WhatsApp is a monthly subscription package. So this one, it will be very convenient for the doctors. Let's say if you want to mail blast to a lot of people, let's say not just 100, maybe 1,000, then it will be very convenient for a doctor to just select the list of person they want to send and then just click send. SMS will be quite expensive for these purposes. Okay, so this is one of the new features that we have in the which is the WhatsApp lah. So doctors, you can actually consider so you can communicate with your patient much easier. All right. So this one, the next one will be better performance and appointment scheduling. So now let's say normally if you have an appointment, this is roughly how it looks like. So these are all the appointments here. And then let's say you want to reschedule the appointment for the patient. So it's as easy as, let's say I select for 2 days, 20th and 30th, 29th and 30th. Let's say you want to reschedule this one to tomorrow. So what you can do is you can just drag this appointment to there, then appointment is rescheduled. That's one. Another thing is that let's say what if you nurse already checked on this schedule, Dr. Lim is free at this hour. So what you can do is you can just directly double click on here and just create the appointment on the fly. That's the time. And just like this, your appointment is being created. So as you can see for yourself, that it's a very fast process. You don't need to go out and click and then register a patient, especially if the patient is registering through phone. So you can just directly double click and just like that. And what if you want a simple method which you want to duplicate this appointment? So what you can do is you can just control this one and then just select this one and drag. So as you can see now, the appointment is being duplicated. So what you can do is once you duplicate already, just double click here and then you just change the details that you need. Maybe this one is a walk-in vaccination. All right. So you can just do that. So now the new appointment is being set. All right. So this is the new feature. Of course, you have different features here. Let's say if you want to change the color, just right click, manage appointment type, just change the color on the side, like this. All right. So this one you have, with this given, you have more flexibility in controlling and see overall the appointment slot for the nurse, also for the patient. Okay. So the next one will be patient recalling. Let's say for certain treatment that you need to call back the patient after a certain period of time to do either checking or maybe you want to ask to come back just for normal simple checking. So what you can do is just come to appointment and just click on here. As you can see, you can recall the patient by 2 weeks or how many months that you like. So it has a flexibility of let you choose how long they want to see, how long of the duration after they want to see the patient. You can just call them back. And then with the WhatsApp feature that you have, let's say to recall maybe last 2 months for this specific. And then you have, let's say 100 raw patients. So instead of one by one calling them, you can just directly click on Compose SMS, like this one is empty currently. Let's say, select this one. Let's say just Compose SMS and just send. So it'll be very easy. Of course, here, not just you can use for, let's say, recalling them. The WhatsApp, you can also use it for maybe doing some promotion or inform them what is the things that you have in clinic now that you can let the patients know without calling them one by one. So these are the use, and then that's how you recall patients, right? The next one is auto notification of change of appointment status by email. So let's say, just like we mentioned appointment, we try to reschedule, let's say this one to tomorrow. So what happens here is that when this happens, it will trigger an email to the customer to let the customer know that, okay, your appointment has to reschedule to tomorrow, this time. So please remember to come to the clinic tomorrow. So this is important so that it's in a way reminding the customer, because some customers they might not remember, and then they might say, oh, I don't remember I have any appointment today, when you already rescheduled for them. So at least you have a proof, and then you can tell them this is the email, inform them on the appointment. So there's the auto notification change of appointment status. The next one is entitlement. Entitlement is, let's say if your clinic, you have any promotion that you're doing, let's say in immunization, within that 1 year, maybe there's 2 jabs that you can do. So we can just create this entitlement so that the patient will pay upfront on the entitlement injection, and then within that 1 year period, you will be the business with the patient is already confirmed. So which means that when the patient next time come in, just prescribe through entitlement to the patient. So in a way that he already bought the whole packages. Right, so that's the entitlement. And then emailing e-receipt and e-consent form to the patient. Now, so this one, let's say, after you've done the treatment. Okay, go to billing. Now, after you've done the treatment, now you would like to prescribe the receipt to the customer. So now with this e-receipt, you do not need to prescribe the hard copy of it. So what you can do is, you can just print. Okay. Now, if the receipt is generated, you can just print, email as PDF to the customer. So you do not need to specifically hard copy print out the thing for the patient. So in this manner, it will be number one. I mean, in a way, this one is a lot of clinic now, they actually are going into this paperless solution for paperless clinic. So this one will save a lot of hassle of printing hard copies receipt to the patient, and also you can be save costs, because papers, if you print, it will be in a form of costing. So if you can send e-receipt directly to the patient, then you save a lot of paper. Okay, so this is one of it. And then the e-consent form, which is here, so the patient. Okay, now you want to set a consent form for him, just create. Okay, so now just do this. Right, let's say patient after sign here. Okay, now submit. Okay, once submitted, now in the system you already have one copy for this consent form, so you do not need to print out again and then scan it into the system again after you sign. So you do that. What after the patient sign digitally on the system, now you can print this one, and instead of, like I mentioned stuff, print out as hard copy, they just email as PDF to the customer. So this one also is very easy. Just email, and then if they have a phone, they directly see from the email and check on this email, this is the consent form directly. So they do not need to have a hard copy for them. Okay, so this is for the e-receipt and e-consent form. So overall, this one I think will be very, very useful for the clinic, because that the more paper that you use, the higher the cost. So which means if you can go paperless, which means that there's one bulk of the cost that is being reduced. So it's beneficial for the clinic to go this direction. Okay, so this is for the e-consent form and the e-receipt. So the next one, the 7th one will be stock card. Now, in a clinic, you will have prescription, a lot of different medications from time to time. So by the end of the day, when you do stock count, you will want to know how much balance in the system and how much balance in the hand to tally the thing. But there are certain scenarios where it will be different from the hand and from the system. So how do you check what is the issue? Why is it different? You can actually go to this one, inventory. Let's say you select order items. Let's say select location. Okay. Now you would like to see the transactions. So here, if you can right click stock card. Okay. Now let's say I generated for today. So as you can see here, there will be receipt number that will track which this item went to which receipt. So with this, it's easy for you to know the transaction history. Also at the same time, you know where does this medication goes to every time you prescribe. So at the end of the day, if you want to do stock count and you find it's different, you can necessarily check here and do the balancing based on this. If let's say missing or extra, then you know, or here maybe what's the reason out of it. You can check with the number here. So this was stock count, which doesn't have for 4626 the advanced version. Okay. Now the eighth item, which is panel payment with our mass payment feature. Now let's say this is a panel that is paying you, because clinic sometimes they deal with panel companies. So let's say now you generated a list to send to the patient, send to the panel company, and they paid for all this amount. So how do clinic make this payment? Instead of one by one, you go to the bill and click. Actually, what you can do is you just click mass payment here. Just a moment. Okay, you can just click mass payment here, and then all the payment that involved just now you generated in that invoice you send to the panel will be shown here. So you can just directly mass payment everything together. So this one will be like a one lump sum payment, so you do not need to one by one go inside. So this will save clinic a lot of time, especially when it comes to the panel have a lot of different bills. Right? Okay. So down to the 9 point, voice dictation with during examination. Let's say now patient came for a visit. Okay, the inside the record. Now maybe in certain situations where you're doing diagnosis, you're not free to type yourself, and you do not have a nurse inside to help you. No worry. Here we are trying to help you in a way that we give you a feature called voice, in a way they call it voice recording. So if you do is just click this and click open voice recording. Okay. Now when you want to start the diagnosis or the examination, just click start. Okay. So during this period, you can just record what you say out loud there near the mic. So let's say during diagnosis, you say what is diagnosis, everything, and then you record it here. So once you have done, you just click stop. So the audio will be shown here. So what this does is, it will allow doctor, let's say, if you don't have time to, let's say, key in all the history diagnosis now, maybe you can do it later. You just record down first, and then you can slowly type in later part when you are slightly more not so preoccupied. Okay, so another one, this one also actually is important in a way that, let's say, certain situation where you need clarification so that the patient acknowledge, understand this one, you can use this voice recorder as a proof to record down to show that, oh, during this time I actually inform you on the situation already. So this is important and also useful in this sense of scenario. Okay, so this is for the voice recording. Now, the 10th one is the medicine label. Now, our new system is updated with the latest requirement from KKM for the medicine label. So let's say I would like to print a medicine. Just show a sample. Now, let's say I were to add a medication, antibiotic, this one. Now, if you want to print out the medicine label for this dispensary, and then you just print medicine label and then press review. Now, this one is the updated version of the medicine label. So if let's say the requirement by the KKM for this new medicine label is actually for the expiry date. So this one you can actually type in yourself. 2021. So this is the expiry date they can put in. So this is the new requirement by the KKM. As you can see, this is the updated version of our medicine label. Okay, so you can see that here the nurse will have the freedom to type in the expiry date themselves. Okay, so now the next one would be additional medication details for medicine and also alternate prescription setting. Okay, let's say now you want to set this medication. All right. In this one, there's certain fields that is also you can set, let's say item name of course, then classification, and also medicine type. Okay, so it can be set here. These are the things that you can set now for the, it's more like the categorization for the medication. Okay, then the next one will be the prescription setting. This one you can set alternate dosage. Let's say certain condition you would like to prescribe at this dosage, certain timing you would like to prescribe at this dosage. So depending on the patient and depending on the scenario. So instead of every time you take out, you have to select every time yourself, because certain time you might not be able to remember all the different prescriptions. So what you can do is actually that you can just set the output here first. Maybe you already revised, okay, for this situation, you have this setting. So what you can do is you can just select all this, the setting that you want, and then just click save. So now every time you prescribe, you can just directly use the alternate code to prescribe that particular prescription setting. So this will be very convenient for, let's say, if the clinic, if you're seeing different kind of patients, let's say adult, children. So certain medication for adult and certain medication for children, they will have different dosage and quantity that will be given to them. So this one will be a very convenient method for you to use. Okay, that's one. And then the next one would be immunization. Now, let's say, especially now where the MCO is happening, a lot of people will be going through to get the immunization injection. So to do that, number one is, of course, you can set immunization category here. Okay, so these are all the immunization. So it can be set based on all the different conditions. As you can see here. Okay, so now once this is done, you can prescribe to a patient, and then what you'll see is we have the immunization chart where, let's say you prescribe the immunization already, then how long, what's the timing, what is the period, and what's the age group here, all will be shown here directly in this chart form. So it'll be quite clear for the doctor to see, oh, the patient already did this immunization. Roughly when is the next time you will do the next immunization, it can be shown here. Okay. So this is for the immunization part. Okay, so now another reason why you should upgrade from 4626 to 5026 is because of you can make this version, it's more like you can brand your own clinic to into this system. For instance, let's say if you want to put logo for your this doctor's system, you can just right click and then change login image here. So this one you can put your own logo. It feels like it makes you feel like it's your own system or clinic. Okay. Other things that can be more adjusted in such way is that the color scheme. Let's say in your clinic, maybe you have certain color scheme that you follow. You can just change from here, right click, scheme color settings. Now let's say maybe your clinic is utilizing more on lighter gray. Okay, and then the highlight color, maybe you want to use let's say green. Okay, so you can preview and see this is what it will look like. Is it what you want? If not, you can keep adjusting until it suits your clinic color and your clinic's preferred color. Right, so these are some of it that can be changed. Another thing that the flexibility in the system has is that, let's say you go back into a medical record. Now, certain doctors, they have certain preferences on what to see. So this one, 4626, we have fixed a few sets of layout for them. But here you can actually modify up to the liking you need. Let's say, for instance, I change to current template. Let's say, if you have a smaller screen, then of course you would want to see something. You would like to try to minimize all the things that you can see so that you can see clearer. So maybe you can choose something with 2 modules instead of 3 or 5. Let's say if you have a bigger screen, you want to see more things, more details. So maybe you can choose with more modules like this one. But as for example, I just show this one first. Now, inside here, all this can be changed. Let's say maybe mainly everything that you type in is in diagnosis. Okay, history mainly you didn't use much. Okay, so what you can do is that you can set this one to different modules that we have inside the system. As you can see, this is all the different modules that we have that you can select and use. So let's say that's not the one you want to see history. You want to see more on allergy and medical illness. You click on this and you select selection. Once it's done, just click save. Okay. So this one is specifically for this doctor. So which means that if let's say your clinic has multiple doctors, you have different layouts lah, depending. But of course, you can unify also by setting the admin, and then you can set all to follow the admin also can. But this one we give you the flexibility to see how you want it to. Okay, so this is one for the clinic branding lah. And then lastly, point number 15. In certain clinic where you have a lot of different persons in charge of different areas. Let's say nurse. You do not want them to see clinic reports. Only allow doctors to see clinic reports. So because this is in a way, if you ask me, it's more on the security side. Because certain things you do not want, let's say Dr. Local, you do not want them to go through all your reports to see all the important details. So what you can do is that you go to this one, right? Now, you can go to USC control, and then let's say this is all the things that you can play around with. Let's say the most simplest one, which is level 1, which is Dr. Access module. This one will be what you can see here. You can, in fact, actually, if you want them to see certain things, mainly, let's say, report, you can just directly lock them out to not let them see report from here. So when you set in such a way, let's say nurse, it's already set that they cannot see clinic report. So on their tab, they will not see clinic report lah. All right. So same thing for others. So all these are the roles. So each personnel will be given a role. Let's say nurse, they'll be given nurse lah. So there will be multiple nurse under this nurse roles. So whoever under this role of nurse, they will share the similar setting. Let's say doctors, if you want to differentiate between your doctors, assistant doctors in clinic, and then locum doctors, what you can do is that you create another one, Dr. Locum here, and then you can control like this, so that you can control, oh, this doctor, I let him see more, this doctor, I let him see less. That's the way you can play around. All right. So this one you can go actually very in depth to see what you want to set. Let's say billing entry. You don't want them to edit any billing type, everything. You can just select from here. So this one we give the user the flexibility to play around with this one. Especially administrator, you can control what I want you to see, what I want you to see. Okay. Then as for the role, what you can do is actually you come to user, and then you go to user role management. Here you can just add another one. Let's say you would like to add, like I mentioned, Dr. Locum. Okay, once you're done, just click add. All right. So now you have another Dr. Locum. So now you can play around with this doctor and Dr. Locum's setting. So you do not need to confirm doctor, means that all of them can see one. Maybe you can set Dr. Locum to see, maybe not allow them to edify, modify billing. Doctor, they can. So this is the freedom of adjustment that you can do to the system. All right. So this is the UAC. And then, of course, if let's say you want to create doctors in the appointment, you can just go to resource management. You can just add a doctor, then in the appointment there, it will show up. All right. So based on all these 15 points that I mentioned, it will be very beneficial to your clinic. Let's say especially number 1, WhatsApp. Yes, WhatsApp, you have a monthly subscription. However, if you were to calculate compared to SMS, it will be much more worth it compared to SMS, because SMS, if you receive 100, you can use 100. However, for WhatsApp, you pay for this amount, you can use as much as you can. So there's no limit on how much you can spend compared to SMS, where you have to keep track of how much you left. And then once you're out, you have the e-commerce, then we only will refill for you. So that's the benefit, especially in this modern society now, where a lot of people will be utilizing phone, WhatsApp. So this will be like the easiest method to communicate with your patient. And then if you ask me, it's also in a way cost saving. It's a small investment, if you ask me, that is worth it lah. All right. Okay. Of course, you can also send image if you need. Now, the second thing is the appointment setting, because normally when patients come in, you want to do appointment fast. You don't want to jam up the queue. Or if let's say you are operating, your clinic is operating, and then someone calls through phone, you cannot take forever on the phone and then slowly do registration. Here, what we emphasize is quick registration. So if let's say the patient calls the phone, want to do adjustment, you can just directly just reschedule it, like I mentioned as well, very easy. So all this will be very simple. Even let's say the nurse, they will pick up very fast because it's not very complex. You can just drag and just change the details like that. You just double click and just put the name inside. It's very easy. Okay, the next one will be patient recalling, which is linked with the WhatsApp. So if let's say you have 1,000 patients and you want to send 1,000 SMS, of course it will be very expensive. But if you have this WhatsApp 1,000 message, it will not be an issue lah. Just only pay for pay for this amount. You can use as much as you can monthly. Okay. Then the next one will be the email, e-receipt, and e-consent form. This one, in a way that you save a lot of timing also. Number one, e-receipt. You don't need to wait for the printer to print for you. Okay. And then the e-consent form, where you do not need to print out the consent form already, let the patient sign, and then scan in the system again to like a reference to you. You can now what happens is that the patient will directly sign on the counter on let's say a touchpad, or if you have a Microsoft Surface or a tablet in general, they can just directly sign there, and then directly you can just press print and email to the customer. Number one, you save a lot of time. Number two, you save a lot of paper. So based on all these few items, in a way that they save time, also when you save time means you save cost. Okay, so that you can be more efficient in waste. So it's a worth investment if you ask me to do all these upgrades and the WhatsApp lah. All right. And then the others also we did, let's say like the stock card, partial payment by mass payment, the KKM medicine label, all this we do to make the clinic run smoother based on the updated things that is in the market now. So in a nutshell, I think that this upgrade for doctor is quite worth it, because if you upgrade all this, it's provided. Except WhatsApp, which you need to pay it's a monthly subscription, and then you get peace of mind, and then you can do the software in ways that I mean not say do it like you want, but more like you can adjust the software to run more or less in the direction that you want to run. So based on this 15 point, I think it's quite worth it to update from Advanced to Spectrum.